I used to be broke, not like tight on cash broke. I mean, living in buildings so run down, they were literally torn down after I moved out. Broke ass, okay? And no matter what I did, I couldn't hold a job down. I'd quit, I'd burn out, I'd sabotage before anything could stabilize. I always, always struggled with money. Then in 2006, I watched The Secret and thought, this is it. So I did all of the things. I journaled, I affirmed, I visualized, I plastered those damn sticky notes everywhere on my house, my walls, my mirrors, my car, and yet still nothing worked. Instead of manifesting abundance, I ended up spiraling deeper into shame. And I thought, what's wrong with me? Like, why does this work for other people but not me? Like, there's got to be something wrong with me, right? Like, I'm absolutely broken. And it was brutal. And if you've been there too, you know the kind of soul crushing self doubt I'm talking about. So, you're not blocked because you're ungrateful or you're not, anchoring that vibration of gratitude. You're blocked because your field is congested, which is hard to be grateful when your field is overloaded, right? And when you have unresolved trauma and ancestral grief and shame and fear and energetic imprints that you're carrying within your energetic field, some of them were never even yours to begin with. These frequencies run silently in the background, shaping your thoughts, your decisions, your patterns, and behaviors. And that's why mindset hacks didn't work, because my field was still in survival mode and not abundance. So, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Jen Scott, a quantum alchemy mentor and business energetic strategist, and I help healers and spiritual entrepreneurs clear the unseen blocks, traditional healing misses like spirit attachments, trauma loops, inherited sabotage codes, so they can finally feel safe in their bodies and trust their gifts and step into their mission. All right, so let's get into it. I know you've heard this before. Just think positive thoughts and, visualize your dream life or say your affirmations every damn day. But here's the truth you're never told. You can't manifest abundance when your subconscious is still coded in unworthiness. And you cannot quantum leap when your field is leaking energy from your grandmother's survival patterns or your father's shame around receiving or the unspoken money wounds that you've been running, through your lineage like this invisible virus. All right, so you've been most likely carrying frequencies you didn't even choose in the first place, but you can choose to clear them. And, it's not about trying harder and journaling until your hand falls off or raising your vibe and hoping the universe rewards you for being a good little light worker. This is about energy field integrity, because your energy speaks louder than your words every second of every day. And your field is constantly broadcasting your true baseline, right? So the unprocessed grief, the inherited scarcity, the trauma loop still running beneath all of those affirmations. And guess what? The universe is responding to that. So it's not just mindset. It's not just, thinking better thoughts or slapping a high vibe filter, because trauma doesn't just create beliefs, it creates entire identity structures. And it becomes the lens you see life through, the way you price your work, the way you receive love, the way you unconsciously keep yourself small, because your nervous system equates safety with struggle. So if you've been wondering why nothing's clicking, why you keep looping, why does it feel like something keeps pulling you short of the life you know you're here to live, this is why, okay? It's not you, it's in your field. And that we can shift, we can reclaim, and we can clear. So every time you were told you're too much, you're not enough, it's selfish to want more, or you're bad with money, or this was a big one for me, rich people are greedy. Those weren't just words, they were energetic imprints, and they got woven into your nervous system, burnt into your energy field like coding, okay? So they didn't just shape your beliefs, they shaped your identity, they shaped your frequency. And when you walk around with that energy pulsing in your aura, no amount of positive thinking or vision boarding can really override that, okay? Because abundance doesn't respond to what you say necessarily, it responds to who you are beneath the surface. Because that shame and scarcity were wired into your nervous system, most likely pretty early on in life, right? So they're familiar and they show up as patterns of self-doubt and guilt and betrayal and abandonment. And those patterns, they create that frequency loop that holds you just outside the life you're here to live, right? Just close enough for you to see it, but never fully able to receive it. And here's what most people don't realize. Your root chakra, your foundation, begins forming between the ages of 0 and 7. And that's when your system is most vulnerable to coding and scarcity and fear and survival. You really absorb everything around you, not just beliefs, but frequencies. And so if your caregivers were stressed out about money all the time, or if love was conditional, if security felt fragile, that energy becomes your normal. All right. And it didn't stop there. You could have also inherited genetic patterns from your lineage, your grandmother's scarcity, your father's shame, your mother's martyrdom. And they live in your nervous system, in your field, in your behavior. And this is why manifesting teachings fall flat. Because you can't vibrate higher when you're still coded in fear. And you can't visualize wealth while your subconscious is still screaming that you don't deserve it. And you cannot quantum leap when your field is leaking energy from unresolved wounds. So, the law of attraction isn't wrong, it's just incomplete. And they tell you to align your thoughts and to raise your vibe and to focus on what you want, but they don't tell you your conscious thoughts are only a fraction of the signal you're sending out. What about your subconscious? What about the energetic memories stored in your root, in your sacral, in your heart, in your DNA? Because you don't attract necessarily what you say you want. You attract what your nervous system believes is safe, what your energy field has been wired to expect. And I know you've most likely done the work, the affirmations and the journaling and the endless meditations. But if your field, is still coded in survival, you're not just blocked, you're repelling the very things you've been calling in, because frequency doesn't lie. Your energy attracts what feels familiar, not what feels good. And your behavior is your energetic signature, and your emotions are the compass of your truth. And your body isn't just this vessel, it's your fortress, your first filter, and your front line. So if your field is still looping betrayal and shame and abandonment, then no matter how much you say you want abundance, it might not ever feel safe to stay. So how do you shift this? Well, first you need to identify the trauma patterns and subconscious programs keeping you stuck. Okay, these aren't always dramatic or obvious either. They can be really subtle, right? You could be feeling guilty when you rest, sabotaging things right before they succeed, right? Or maybe you're always undercharging for your work. And some of these patterns could have started in childhood, or they were absorbed from your caregivers or partners. And yes, some of them may even be carried from past lives or your lineage, like inherited shame. or survival fears you didn't even consciously choose. All right, then you have to clear the energetic residue from your field and your nervous system. So, what the hell does that mean, right? So, that means releasing stored emotions from your body, collapsing old identity loops that are tied to fear and failure, closing those energetic leaks that are draining your power behind the scenes. So, this isn't just mindset work, it is body and energy recalibration. You're literally changing the frequency you operate from. And finally, you have to rewire your field to feel safe holding more visibility, more wealth, more love, more power, because your nervous system doesn't care what you say you want. It cares what feels familiar and what feels safe to you. So if struggle is familiar, you'll default back into that behavior, right? If scarcity feels safe, you'll reject overflow without even consciously realizing it. So this is the work I do inside of Quantum Alchemy Codes. It is not mindset coaching. It's energetic surgery, and it's how I went from broke and spiraling to building a wildly successful healing business, not from hustle, but from alignment. So drop a yes in the comments below if this opened a new layer for you. I'd love to hear from you. And do subscribe to my channel, because in the next video, we're going even deeper on how to clear what's really in the way.